All right, looking to the future now, Goldman Sachs kicked off the week with its third annual Market Madness final competition. Students from several historically black colleges and universities competed in case studies for the grand prize of up to $1 million in grants. That's part of Goldman Sachs' HBCU Possibilities program, which is a component of the bank's $25 million five-year commitment to HBCUs. Goldman is looking to double campus analyst hiring by 2025. Joining us now to discuss is Megan Hogan, Goldman Sachs' Chief Diversity Officer and Global Talent Head. Great to have you on the show here. Now, in terms of the winners here, I saw Spelman came in first place. My alum, Howard, didn't have the best showing. They won last year. But talk about this competition and really what Goldman is trying to achieve with its pipeline to some of this talent.
Well, the students still did you incredibly proud. They won $250,000, Howard students, for their university. And so I think this competition is really bringing the best of Goldman Sachs. So marrying our intellectual capital with our financial capital to really make impact. And so we started this program in 2021, really as an endeavor to build off of our longstanding relationships with HBCUs. Goldman, for the last 20 years, has had boots on the ground hitting HBCUs across the country. And now we really wanted to take it to the next level, which is how could we incorporate making sure that we were building relationships with students, building a pipeline of diversity to Goldman Sachs, and really being thoughtful about paying it forward to the next generation of talent. Hence a $25 million commitment over 5 years, and students getting to know Goldman Sachs professionals through a 4-month immersive program with coaching, building of financial fundamentals, and the opportunity to have the experience of coming to Goldman Sachs to compete.
So for Spelman, who came in first place, how did they edge out the competition? What really stood out to you?
Well, what was fantastic about all of the students is that there were 150 from 12 participating HBCUs who had been working in collaboration with Goldman Sachs coaches for about 4 months. And I have to say, even though 5 groups made it to the final competition, all of the students were fantastic. The best part of this was that we did have L'Oreal as a client who partnered with us on the case study competition. And they really got to learn about the business of L'Oreal and to think about strategic acquisitions for the company. What I think really put Spelman over the edge, by the way, they were our first year winner as well, is that there were dynamic students who really brought together all of the strategic solutions into one amazing presentation. They had production value, they had pizzazz. And I have to say, as an all-women's group, they really led the pack in understanding what sustainability in the beauty industry could look like and the way forward.
And so with that pipeline into Goldman then, what can newcomers to Goldman expect within the investment bank? Obviously, what we have thought of Goldman Sachs, a lot of investment banking, super high pressure, working crazy hours. What is it like now at Goldman Sachs?
Yeah, what I think it's great. I've been at the firm for about 10 years now, and we are really demystifying what it means to work for the company, who shows up as part of our intern, new analysts, and experienced hire professional populations. And this is the best way to do it, right? Is to have people come directly to our campus to see the diversity of our leadership, to see the impact that we're making, not just on diversity, equity, and inclusion within the 4 walls of Goldman Sachs, but communities at large. And so while this program is near and dear to my heart, we have many that we're very focused on. Our 10,000 Small Business Program, our 10,000 Women Program, and importantly, thinking about strategic objectives that relate to the diversity of our clients. We know that diversity, equity, and inclusion is an important pillar of our firm-wide strategy, but we know that it's increasingly a focus for our clients, for governments, for regulators, because we know that when we build diversity and community, we impact better results. And that's what it's all about, is making sure that we're providing the best profitability for our clients and our communities. And what I think has been really fantastic as well about this demystification is students show up and they say, there are lots of people that look like me. There are lots of people that come from my hometowns and communities. There are more HBCU professionals here than I would have ever imagined. And so it's important that we're not just talking the talk, but walking the walk too, on building the experience of people to see what we can bring to the firm and what we can bring to the communities that we serve.
And just very quickly, what's next then as Goldman, continues with this? This is a 5-year commitment here, but what happens next?
So after the program ends, we will be very focused on making sure that we build that pipeline, not just into our summer intern population, but new analysts as well. And so what's been fantastic is that 25 students from the first 2 years of the program are starting with us this summer as summer interns and new analysts. And so we're just building the base of the pyramid. We're getting more and more students from HBCUs. We're going to meet our commitment to double new analyst hiring by 2025. And those students are going to become not just new analysts, but associates, vice presidents, managing directors, and partners here at Goldman Sachs. And so what's next is simple. It's about retaining the best and brightest of HBCU talent to make sure that we see them in the senior leadership ranks all across the firm.
We love the work you're doing. A big thank you there, Megan Hogan, Goldman Sachs Chief Diversity Officer and Global Head of Talent. Thank you for joining us on Yahoo Finance.
Thanks so much for having me.